Hey everybody, this is Steve with nonprofitally.com, and today we're going over lesson 2 and how to configure your WordPress settings. It's a pretty simple step. There are a few things that we're going to change. A lot of stuff you're going to leave as the default, but there's important stuff in here that's related to search engine optimization and basic usability of your website. So go ahead and open up your admin panel for WordPress and let's get started. Okay, so to get started, we're just going to log into the back end of our WordPress website. We'll log in. And on the left-hand side here, you see all the different controls you have on to customize and post and change the way the template looks. So we're going to go right into settings right here at the bottom. We're going to go through this whole list, and we're going to start with general. Now, your general settings are basically the name of your site, the tagline, the address and things like that. So you can see I like the name of my site, the nonprofit website. The tagline is when you first install WordPress, autofills this for you. So I'm going to change my tagline to making a nonprofit website with WordPress. And that should work as long as I spell it correctly. So your tagline of your organization, you probably have one, so whatever your tagline is, you fill there. Your URL, which is your address on the web, most likely auto-filled correctly, but you can change that if you like. Your contact email was taken when you installed WordPress. Now, if you plan on having members or people that can log in and participate in a forum, or possibly other people who post, you can go ahead and have anyone register that you like, and you can set their default roles. I don't usually have member sites like that. And then, of course, your time zone in here. Select your time zone, and that way your site will be synced up with the time that you're in, the time zone you're in. Where the heck is Alaska? Usually they call it Anchorage. I'm scrolling too fast. There's Anchorage. And then you can pick the format of your date and your time and things like that, and when your week starts. When you're ready with that, you can go ahead and save your changes. And we're going to move on down. So now you'll see on the left-hand side, when we pressed on settings, that the drop-down menu that popped up is now fully exposed here. So we're going to keep going down. We're going to go into writing. And this is when people or you write, and it's very basic. There's not much in here, if anything, that I ever change, but you can look through it. Right now we don't have any categories, so there's no default category to set, but uncategorized is usually a good default. Your posting format, I usually keep it at standard. I don't change anything in here, but it's good to know what's here. If you wanted to ever post via email, you could set up your email server here and then connect it with the WordPress. I don't do that. When I post, I tend to put a lot of images and effort in how it looks. So I usually don't post using email. But if you made any changes, go ahead and save them. We're going to go down to the next tab, which is reading. So here you're making up your settings for your front page and how many posts you're going to show, and if you're going to have another feed come in, like if you subscribe to an RSS feed from another website and you pull it in. Again, I usually leave this static or the same until I've done some tweaking with the theme and I really got my front page set up. But you can see here that there's different ways. You can have your latest post, which is what we're going to leave it at. And that's so every time you make a post to your website, your latest news, that's what shows up on the front page. And a static page is a little different, and depending on the theme you have when you install it, your template, your static page will be a little different. And we'll go over that later when we customize the theme. Now, the blogs that show up on the front page, I usually take this down a little bit. I don't need 10 blog posts on the front page. And then if you have feeds showing up, you can have the same thing. I don't pull in feeds from other places, but if you have syndicated feeds coming in, you can show those on your front page and adjust how many of them show. And those feeds, when they come in, typically if you want the full text, leave it like that, but that can take up a lot of real estate on your front page. A lot of times people just want the summary. If they want to read it, they'll click on it. And I'm not sure, I've never clicked this. I do want my search engines or the search engines to see my page, so I'm not going to change that. And all right, Go ahead and save. Next on the list is discussions. Now, this is when people are able to post comments on maybe an article you wrote or some information or a video or whatever you put out there. The ability to comment on a post is really one of the strengths of WordPress. And a lot of people get really worried about spammers or inappropriate comments, and so they turn this completely off. And I just don't recommend that. I think if you want to grow your site, if you want to engage your users and you want to have more people involved in your mission, you have to allow them to engage and interact with you. It's just more and more common. Every site from CNN's site to Amnesty International has a way for people to comment. And you can monitor them. There's safeties you can take. So let's go through this. I usually leave this at the default settings. There's not a lot to change here. You can have your comment settings here, what they need to fill out if they leave a comment, if they need to be registered or not, how many comments can be posted, and how many days is it open. So those things you can change here. Here's your safety here. After the email me, you can anytime someone posts a comment, you can have them emailed to you, and you'll know about it. And but here's the thing. Here's your safeties. So before a comment appears, you can, if you like, you can select this here, and that every comment that gets posted on your page must be approved by an administrator. Now, you are the administrator. You installed this. So every comment that got posted, you would see, and you would have to okay that. I usually don't have that one going. If people leave a comment, I usually, I like this one here. So if they've previously posted and I've approved them a couple times, then I don't need to monitor them anymore. And you know, people will get through, and things will go through the cracks. You'll get spammed, or you'll get someone who, you know, is abusive or whatever. It happens. You can go in there. You have full control. You can delete them. You can block them. But I would certainly leave comments available, at least on your post. If you get overly concerned and overly secure, you're basically alienating a lot of your audience. So I can't stress it enough. Just really encourage people to comment and engage. That's what a blog is. A blog is a part of social media. All right, so we'll go on down, and here's your blacklist. So you can take certain words or certain people and eliminate them from ever posting. So another control for you down here. If you do have members and they sign in and they become a member of your site, you can determine if they have avatars, which is their picture and what's and whatnot. So I usually leave these all at the defaults down here. I'm going to save my changes. So now we're going to go on. After discussions, we're going to go to media. And we'll go over the actual media area, which is up here. If you look up here, you'll see that there's a media library, and that's where your PDFs and your images and your videos will get stored. We'll go over that later, but this is your basic settings. So if I upload a photo, WordPress is going to take that photo and it's going to resize it as a thumb, and it's going to resize it as a medium-sized image and then a large-size image. So these are your defaults for that, your thumb defaults, your mediums, and your large size. And these are pretty good. I like my medium image to be a little bigger. I typically like 340 to 360. I'll say 340. You can make these as large or as small as you like. And then what they do is every time you upload an image or a video, it organizes it in folders by month and year. So if you want to go back and find something, if you're uploading a lot of information every month, it's easier to find what you posted because it's organized by the month and year. Go ahead and save that. All right, so now permalinks. This is really important here. Your permalink it's your URL. It's your link. It's what your page is going to look like up in the address bar up here. So if I'm on your About page, how does that read in the browser's domain area, the URL area? Now, there are some defaults here, and you can see like this one has the day and the name. So here's the year, the month, the date, and the name of the post. Of course, they call it sample post, but whatever the name of your post is. And that, you'll see a lot of people doing that. I like to go ahead, like the post name here will be the nonprofit website.com. And if my post was called, like this post would be configuring settings or WordPress settings, it would be WordPress-settings. And then the / means that, that's the folder marker. I like to actually click on this, and you see if you click on these, your custom structure down here changes. So here's the month and name, and that changes down here. So I like to use the post name, and then I click it so it shows up down here. I click on the custom structure, and I just eliminate this last /. So that way my about page would look like the nonprofitwebsite.com /about. And very easy to tell people to go there. It's really good for the search engines. This is one of the reasons you want to make sure that you change this setting to something that makes sense to a human, right? You don't want to have a nonprofit website post equals, this is P number, my post number 1348 / whatever, right? Search engines, that doesn't make sense to them. So you have a lot of control over this by making your post name. And we'll go, when we go into the post section, which is over in here, I'll show you how to customize how your post name is going to show up in your URL bar at the top. So anyway, down here you can optionally change your category base, and we'll go over categories and tags later. I leave this blank. I'm pretty happy with that structure. So we're going to go ahead and save these changes. And then your last one is going to be your media folder. Your WordPress super cache. This is this down here. This is somewhat new in WordPress. It's only been around for a year or so. Basically, I leave this all to default, so I don't mess around with this. What it does is it caches pages that don't get updated frequently, and that way they show up in your browser or in your visitor's browser a lot easier and quicker. So it's a way of caching pages that are like your about page, which doesn't get updated much, or your contact page. It's in there, it's cached. It doesn't have to pull that information from the server and then present it to the user. It's cached. It just shows up a lot quicker. So it's a really great tool that they added to WordPress. So nothing to change here, but you can read through this if you like. And those are the settings. So it only takes 5-10 minutes to do this, but it's really important to get your structure set up so that as you start posting, especially the permalink area, and I think the media part's important too, making sure your photos are the size that you want them to appear. And that wraps up the settings part. Well, thanks for watching that lesson. And next time, lesson 3, we're going to be talking about widgets, plugins, and your donation page. We're actually going to install some plugins. I'm going to explain how they work, and we're going to install a donation page. So that's a lesson you don't want to miss. And hey, if you get the chance, it'd be great if you could give me some feedback on these video lessons or anything that you see on our website. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can just leave a comment below, or if you're on the website watching it, just leave a comment on this page. Yeah, I really take your feedback seriously. I really want this to be of benefit to you, and so give me some good feedback. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Just anything constructive, and I'll do my best to just be better every time. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next lesson.